Ethiopia to participate in the 30th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the African Union, AU. The president's spokesman, Femi Adesina, said the theme for the summit is winning the fight against corruption, a sustainable path to Africa's transformation. According to him, it is the first time in the 54-year-old history of the AU that anti-corruption will be made a theme of the gathering of the regional leaders. It will be recalled that at the 29th session of the AU in 2017, African leaders endorsed Buhari to champion the fight against corruption on the continent. Apart from anti-corruption, other issues lined for consideration by African leaders include peace and security, free movement of persons, climate change, and education, among other things. The Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating local content and cost variation on the $16 billion Egina Deep Sea Oil project says it has discovered that an unqualified firm, Nov Oil and Gas Nigeria Limited, got a whopping 50 billion naira contracts from Total Upstream Nigeria Limited. The committee said that this is contrary to the Nigeria Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act of 2010. The discovery was made when the managing director of the company, Bertrand Hirt, appeared before the committee to brief it on the oil contract. Chairman of the committee, Senator Solomon Adeola, noted that the company was solely incorporated to corner some aspects of the Egina project that should have been done by Nigerians. Meanwhile, Senate has called on the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to, within 7 days, end the lingering scarcity of petrol and clear queues in filling stations across the country. This followed an adoption of the report of the Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream on the fuel crisis in the country on Thursday in Abuja. The report was presented by its chairman, Senator Kabiru Marafa. The committee stressed the need for security agencies to ensure effective border patrol to check diversion of petroleum products to neighboring countries. It also recommended that the Department for Petroleum Resources should double efforts to ensure compliance with government's regulated pump price of 147 naira per litre of petrol. Minister of Power, Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola says the works sector would require 341 billion naira for projects in 2018. He said this while defending the ministry's 2018 budget before members of the House of Representatives Committee on Works in Abuja. Fashola, however, said that the ministry would give priorities to projects of critical economic value to the country. He said those projects include the highly trafficked routes used for the distribution of goods and services across the country and major river crossing bridges. Fashola blamed the untimely completion of projects on insufficient funding. The House of Representatives is creating a committee on conflict detection, engagement, and resolution. The committee's jurisdiction is to engage warring parties in conflict situations to achieve amicable settlement. It will also alert security agencies on the likelihood of a conflict arising in any community in Nigeria. Well, this followed a motion by Suleiman Lassu on the need for an amendment of the standing orders of the House of Representatives. Other members also supported the motion.
Given the state of the nation and the challenges in the world towards the nation, this committee will come in very handy and make us the house as a one team to meet Nigerians. It would be nice to have representatives from the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. If you want to be proactive, it's better to have members from every state and the Federal Capital Territory so that information about conflicts can get to the committee early on, so that the committee will be as proactive as possible and be able to notify everyone of security agencies and other very advanced parties that are likely to have conflicts arising from any community in Nigeria.
Right now, there's an identified problem in the country. Everywhere, every day, herdsmen are fighting with farmers, killing people here and there. The there is also quarrel between communities. And sometimes members of these communities are so partisan and they are so proud that they are not able to engage each other on these issues. Meanwhile, people are thinking it will require a third party to intervene. Now we say the executive arm of government will handle this. But if you go to your constituency, people will be calling you, telling you this program of health killing people here, what have you done about it?
The federal government has blamed the implementation of anti-open grazing bill in some states as the major cause of the killings by herdsmen in the country. Speaking with newsmen at the end of a meeting of security chiefs with President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday, the Minister of Defense Mansour Dan Ali said the decision of some states to enact laws banning open grazing triggered the violence. Ali urged Nigerians to learn to accept foreigners in their areas. He also said it was illegal for state governments to set up and arm forest guards. He said the Ministry of Defense and the Office of the National Security Advisor have set up a committee to work out modalities to transform the Presidential Committee on Small Arms and Light Weapons to a national commission. The Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, is to partner with the National Orientation Agency, NOA, in a community-based sensitization and enlightenment campaign aimed at forestalling the deadly clashes between farmers and cattle herders currently rocking some parts of the country. The FCT Minister, Mohammed Bello, disclosed this when he received the Director General, NOA, in his office in Abuja. Towards the success of the initiative, the FCT minister said the administration would provide the necessary financial, logistics, and manpower support. Bello said it had become necessary for government to take preemptive steps to ensure that the city remains very peaceful and safe in the face of the influx of people with different characters. He also solicited the support of the NOA in the campaign against vices such as drug abuse, indiscriminate waste disposal, among other things. Nigerians have called for speedy dispensation of justice in the country, saying excessive delays during trials have led to denial of justice to some people. In this interview, some people urge those in the judicial system to be innovative, disciplined, and focused in the performance of their duties.
I think it's because the people in the legal sector, they are not diligent. You apprehend someone, he's supposed to be given a lawyer by the government, and he gets to prison, but because he doesn't have money to pay, the lawyers are uninterested in his case, and then he doesn't get trial, and he's just postponed until someone, maybe a friend, or there's a divine intervention, and then the person finds his way out. Some people die there.
When you are deliberately delaying justice to somebody, it's corruption too. When you know that this case is in favor of this person, and as a judge or a lawyer or a IP or police or anyone, you are deliberately slowing down that process. It's part of corruption. The lawyers themselves are not helping matters. They begin to frustrate clients in terms of give me transport money, give me feeding money. Before you know, the man will run short of money. That justice process will be delayed also.
Someone might arrest another person, and because of his or her money, in quotes, the other person will rot in jail so long as he keeps paying the necessary allowances for the person to be there. And then, even if the other person is in the right, because this one has money, they keep adjourning cases, they keep postponing meetings, they keep postponing prosecutions, and justice is delayed. So that's what happens around here most times.
We need to have a monitoring process for that particular sector. So if you have particular lawyers that are public defenders, just monitor them properly. You have a case, there's a new case that came in, file it, it's on your table, have you attended to this person's case? And that's how it works. Because that's the only way you can push somebody who doesn't have empathy to do his job.
Our civil service system, which the judiciary is also part of, when the civil servant there is not well taken care of, it might frustrate a particular case because he is not taken care of by his organization or the government generally. So that one also will slow down the process. The judges should have the fear of God to do what is needful, not to drag matters. They all should see it from the human angle, not to have any fear or any favor for anybody, no matter the personality involved in that matter.
Meanwhile, some legal practitioners in Abuja told us that certain procedures that must be followed have led to need to delay in justice.
You cannot jump procedure. So if case come to court and the laws lay down the way the case is to progress from one stage to the other, you have to follow the procedure. And that is why when you come to court, cases are adjourned so that one procedure or the other can follow.
One of the delays is the fact that people don't have access to justice. They don't have the ability to afford what it takes for them to have access to justice. Most times, a lot of people don't even know where to identify those legal authorities or the possible enforcement organizations where they need to seek justice from. So their hands are tied. Some people don't have money to afford going to those places because they believe that for justice to be given to you, you should be able to afford them with money. So they feel that if you don't have money, your justice will be delayed, so they lack the ability to afford justice.
We have issues regarding fair hearing, giving notice to the other party, waiting for time before the other party respond to what you have served him. All these things constitutes delays to our administration of justice.
The cumbersome of cases that they always have. The court system is a place of justice. However, they have a lot of court cases that come to the courts every day for the judges to adjudicate on. You should know that the court system goes through a procedure. They have the delivery system that must go through a process, and that process must be involved in order for justice to be delivered.
Can be improved. The best way to improve it is to revisit the laws and do away with unnecessary bottlenecks.
Nigerians are reacting to the bill before the House of Representatives aimed at arresting public office holders from medical trips abroad. In this interview, some people believe that the bill, when passed into law, will help develop the health as adequate attention will be given to it. They also advise government to be really determined to improve the deplorable state of the medical infrastructure in Nigeria.
Until they improve on it, they won't see reasons why they should take treatment here. Instead of going to spend all the billions of dollars there, why not just put the billions of dollars here and then you get the treatment here? We have medical doctors, practitioners, people who are graduating every day from good schools. They are also thinking of going outside the country to practice because they don't have the basic and the necessary equipment.
Best doctors in abroad, they are Nigerians. Because if they repair our hospital, all of us will be managing it. Let them stay here, let us do our wahala with ourselves.
If the number one citizen of Nigeria could go outside and stay for a couple of months to get himself treated, that's to tell you how decayed the country is. And again, the health sector is so messed up. They are nonchalant attitude to humans, like they don't have human sympathy again. They just see people dying anyhow, and the way they go about their job is not just it. They should bring more infrastructure, have a better doctors and the rest.
These people who patronize hospitals outside Nigeria are people that are in government. So you see, tell me who wants to stop it? If they deem it fit to continue to do that, there's nobody that can stop them. The change will start from them if we want that to happen. They are not doing anything about it because they don't receive those treatments here.
You're listening to the news at noon on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM. It returns shortly. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now on the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has insisted that Palestinians had disrespected the United States and threatened to withhold aid worth hundreds of millions of dollars until they agree to U.S. brokered peace talks. Palestinians were angry by Trump's recent decision to reorganize Jerusalem as Israel's capital, which for decades both sides agreed would be the subject of negotiation. Facing severe pressure at home, Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas responded by canceling a planned meeting with U.S. Vice President Mike Pence. Palestinians who also considered the divided city their capital took to the streets in deadly riots after Trump's decision. During the meeting, the Netanyahu endeavors, Trump tried to convince a deeply skeptical Arab world that he could still be an honest broker. In sport, the national men handball team finished last at the Africa Handball Nations Cup, which ends on Thursday in Libreville, Gabon. The Nigerian team lost to Cameroon 27-19 in the game. The coach, Ngo Tiangaha, attributed the team's poor performance to lack of competition in the country. He said most of the players were rusty and needed competitions to be in top shape. The coach also noted that developmental and age grade programs should be a top priority while calling for the retraining of coaches at all levels. That's the news, but before we go, here's a reminder of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari leaves for Addis Ababa for AU summit today. Senate says unqualified firm got 50 billion naira Egina oil contract. They also told you federal government says anti-open grazing law is reason for herdsmen killing. On the foreign scene, President Donald Trump says for disrespecting U.S., Palestinians will no longer get aid. And in sports, Nigeria finishes last at Africa Handball Nations Cup. That's the news at noon in this hour. Thank you for listening. My name is Ruth Usman.